That's the main thing.
He is going to be tasty. Nice 2.5-year-old buck.
Hey everybody out there in YouTube land. Jason and Greg here, two old guys with crossbows. And today, we're going to talk a little bit about the first hunt, since we weren't able to get a lot of footage. Jason and I went out. We have a trailer out where we hunt by the blind, and we spent the night in the trailer. And of course we got up at 4 in the morning when it was pitch black and snuck in there and got into the blind and settled in, and within half an hour or so, the deer, all we could see out the window were shadows, but we knew they were there. There was one deer so close it was right under the window of the blind. Could have reached out and petted it, you know, but we knew it was there. We could hear them crunching apples, we could hear them crunching on the corn, and all you could see was shadows zipping around. But of course the cameras couldn't pick anything up because it was so dark. And then as daylight started to, the sun started to rise, it was before shooting time. There was basically a full-grown doe and a buck left in there feeding. And I was waiting for the right moment. I was waiting for enough light and hoping to get some camera footage. And I waited and waited, and it was still actually just getting to legal shooting light. And I thought, okay, another minute or so, I'm going to be able to pull this trigger and take that buck.
And I'd be able to film. But
and Jason would be able to film, yes. You know. And no, all of a sudden he just started to stroll off and lifted his tail and went strutting off into the woods and never came back. And it was cool opening morning. So we took this is another thing I wanted to bring up, is we took the Mr. Buddy with us to heat the inside of the blind. Well, Mr. Buddies aren't so great in the blind. We lit it up to get warmth, and it worked quite well for warming us, but you can smell the propane burning.
and the deer could really smell it.
That's right, because it was legal shooting time, and old Gray came trucking down the trail, and she's very wary. She's been around since we've been hunting there. And she was already, I'd say, probably at least 2 years old back then. And it's been 4 years now, so she's getting to be an old doe. And she knows her tricks, doesn't she?
Yes, she does. She knows our tricks.
She's looking in that window of the blind all the time. When I was in the elevated blind a couple of years ago, she'd come around the corner. And she's smart. She's always walking with a couple of yearlings or some young ones. And it's almost like she uses them for dragon fodder, you know.
Just, you go in there, check it out, and if it's good, I'll come in after.
And I was up in the elevated blind, and she was coming in with a couple of fawns last year there, and man, she looked up in that blind, she seen me, and all of a sudden there was one stamp of her foot. She turned around, she hightailed it, even though the fawns stayed. And of course, I didn't take one of the fawns. I was waiting. I wanted a full-size doe or a young buck. Again, as usual, I like to have as much meat as possible, but I like tasty meat.
Yeah.
But anyway, she was on opening day that morning. It was shooting light. Cameras were on. And I think we might even have some footage of her coming down the trail. I'll have to check.
Yeah.
As I, but she come and I seen her looking and she's doing this.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she got her nose in the air and we had that Mr. Buddy heater on and she got a whiff of that propane. Man, it was a stamp. She turned around, she went with her flag all the way up. And she blew off probably 4 times running up that trail because So if you're going to use a Mr. Buddy heater, consider that. Like, what we did is we'd warm up the blind and shut it off. Finally, around 9 o'clock, we didn't see any more deer coming in. I said to Jason, I says, you know, we're going to have to make a trip back to the house, which fortunately for us is only about 10 minutes from our hunting site.
Yeah.
And I threw on my long undies and stuff and came back out. And we're kind of sharing here the events of what happened for the day because we didn't have a lot of camera footage, as I said. So
part of it was the cameraman's fault.
yeah. And so anyways, we get back out there. We've been up since 4 in the morning. We get back out there. It's around 11 o'clock. And we go into the blind and we're sitting there. And all I can hear behind me is and I look back and Jason's sleeping. We're getting older and yeah, sometimes he spends more time sleeping than hunting, but you know. Anyway, so I bang him in the knee. Quit snoring.
Yep.
So that happened about 3 times over 45 minutes.
Yep.
Finally he says, okay, he says, I'm tired, I can't keep my eyes open, I'm going to go back to the trailer and have a half-hour snooze and then come back. I said, okay, whatever, you know. So we got out and had a smoke. Yes, we had a smoke behind the blind.
Yeah.
And voided our bladders, and away he went with a sandwich and an apple and whatever to the trailer, and he was going to have a little snack and have a sleep. But I wasn't giving up, and I'm back in the blind. And I did look up on Google or whatever a deer grunt on my phone because we have signal down there now, surprisingly enough.
Yep.
But I found a deer grunt MP3, and I thought, well, I'm just going to try it because that buck was around. I know he's not too far away. He's bedded down, but he's not far. Their bedding area from where we hunt them is probably, maybe another 150 yards at the most. Back there. And we know that because we were tracking a deer the one year and we went back there and we scared a couple of bucks up out of their beds. And anyways, I'm sitting there and I play this deer grunt. And then I'm waiting. About 10 minutes goes by and I give it one more try, give it another grunt. And I sit there and I'm waiting. And all of a sudden I hear this grunt in the bush. And I thought, did I just hear a deer grunt? I'm thinking to myself, did I just hear a deer grunt? You know. And anyways, about 5 more minutes, all of a sudden this 6-point buck shows up. And he comes running in and he's looking around. His chest is out. It's like he's looking for a fight. He's looking for who's in his territory. You know. But he doesn't see anybody or anything. And he runs right over to the apples. And the thing about this buck is when we put the apples out, like he obviously had eaten so many, he was kind of being a little pig on the apples.
Yeah.
Because there was liquid crap all around the site. So somebody ate too many apples and got the runs. And I'm pretty sure it was him. But anyways, he runs in, he gives me a perfect shot. He's down there and he's eating. And in the video you'll hear the click. I turn the camera on and I get the record. And then you hear the click of me pushing the safety off on the bow. And I take him down. He doesn't run 20 yards.
Yeah.
I double lunged him and it was a very clean kill. Using those Muzzy broadheads again, the HBX, they're a hybrid. They're not spring loaded. They are a mechanical head that pushes on the meat and opens up for a 2.5/8 cut. And I put that through both his lungs. And basically he took 2 bounds to the trail, maybe a third, but I think his lungs collapsed immediately and he just couldn't breathe. And then he kind of stumbled as I watched his back end go down, which you don't see on the camera because he's a little further over. And I didn't have my cameraman, so
Yep.
I didn't get that. But if you watch to the left of the screen, you will see him. He goes down once, and then he gets back up, and he starts crawling, and he's trying to go to the thick brush, and he doesn't make it. He falls over, and you see his legs kick and that, and he's down. And of course, then it's only been maybe 45 minutes, and I waited a few minutes, but I knew he was down. He wasn't going anywhere, so I left the blind, went up to the trailer, and opened the door and said, "Nap time's over. We got work to do. I just drilled a buck." So.
Yeah, unfortunately, the cameraman was missing in action, and that's not good. But, those things happen. Like, one of the things about us, okay, Greg and I, like, we're not gonna show you stuff or make stuff up, like, we don't, you make a shot and you didn't get it on camera, so we're gonna reenact it. That's just not what we do. We try to bring you what is real about our hunts, and really, I fell asleep. Okay, I mean, like, stuff happens. This is real life.
Well, we're actually going out today again because Jason hasn't got a deer yet. We do have some great footage. We're going to make another video of deer behavior again, and we're going to show you not when a deer is in alarm this time, but what deer are like when they don't know you're there.
Yeah.
And these deer, like, they're closer to again, they're coming in from behind us and they're walking right by the blind. So they're within 5 to 10 yards of us. And they're walking right by us and going to the bait, and they're just eating, and they have no idea we're there with the cameras. And we got some great footage, so that'll be another one of the videos that'll be coming this year. And again, and of course, we're confident that Jason's going to get a deer here, hopefully today when we go out. But yesterday we went out, and it was a little bit late. We went out for an afternoon hunt because we had things to do in the morning. The past couple days it's rained. We had to make a trip to the city. There's been some things going on this week, so we couldn't be out there every day, or he would have his deer by now, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
But all those deer that came in the other day were not the ones we want to shoot. One, we call her Scars, and you'll see why in the film, because she has scars on her. We don't know if she got tangled up in a fence or what's happened to her. But she's got 2 fawns this year, and the fawns are still so small that they've got spots. Like, they're tiny yet. I don't even know if they're going to make the winter, so we're definitely not going to take her out because those fawns are going to need their mommy.
Yep.
For the winter. And then we had a couple of yearlings come in. Boy, was he fat.
Yeah, he was great days.
We call him Buttons because at first I thought he was a small doe that had given birth in her fawn, and it's a brother sister. And I thought maybe that was a mom until I zoomed the camera in and I seen the buttons on his head, and I thought, no, he's just a fat little button buck.
Yeah.
Boy, he's chubby. He would be good eating, but
No, not
not this year. Like, if it was near the end of the season,
maybe.
he would probably get taken out.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, if it was the last day and we really wanted that venison for the freezer, yeah, like, and he would be very tasty. But the thing is no, he's not what we're looking for. What we're hoping to do is get Old Gray.
Yes, like, I would really like to take Old Gray out. She may not be the best eating deer we'll ever take, but, like, okay, the interesting thing about Old Gray this year is we have footage of her. She's in heat. Like, it's, early September in Saskatchewan. Rut here does not happen until November, usually. And we've got a doe in heat.
Yeah, we've got a pre-rut happening. And that's where that buck came in because he was following around. We've got footage on the game cameras. I'll try to find, I'm pretty sure I got those stills.
Yeah.
I may put some stills up because he's mounting her right in the bait site.
Yep.
And even last night we were there and Old Gray showed up.
Yep.
It was right at the end of shooting light. It was just around sunset. And she came and she was at the trail again. And I seen her. The trail's about 200 yards. I can see down where it's kind of a fire break or road that the owner has put in the bush there, and she was up at the end, and I can see her doing this again. She's
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah.
She's looking right at that blind, and she's coming down. And as she's getting closer, she's stopping and she's looking and she's, checking things out. She's smart.
Yep.
She's been around a while, and that's why she's been around a while. She's very smart.
Yeah.
But yet, I think it might be that chubby button buck that was with her, and he's trying to mount her.
Yep.
And so yeah, she's in heat, and hopefully, if she's around, you never know, we might get a second buck this year.
Yep.
A young buck, because if another one gets wind of her and starts following her around besides that button buck, well, he'll probably be the choice that Jason will take. I'm sure. But yeah, she's smart, and she came down last night. She came. Now for me, I'm a right-handed shooter. Jason's a left-handed shooter. She came down on the right side of the blind. Yeah, that trail that I'm talking about. And for me, she gave me a perfect shot. She would have been down because I'm a right-handed shooter and I can shoot that side out the window. For Jason, he has to try to get his chair and swing around and get his bow all the way around, and it just was too awkward because she was so wary.
Yeah.
Like if he would have been trying to move and trying to get an angle on her, she'd have been gone anyways. And sure enough, she came down and she was within probably 25 yards.
Easily 25. She
Yeah.
might even been within that.
Yeah, 20,
Yeah.
closer. Like she was even with the bait, she just didn't go over to the bait, which is directly out in front of us. And she stood there for a second or two, and all of a sudden she just kind of turned around and boing, boing. No flag up or anything, but
No,
she
she
just
wasn't alarmed. She just didn't like what she felt or seen.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, and I wonder about this, it's called, residual scent. We had, we'd fed late. We got there late. We'd fed the deer late. And we have enough evidence to show that when we feed the deer, okay, then it takes, it depends, but sometimes it'll take until well after dark before a deer even comes in.
Yeah.
Because of our residual scent around the actual bait area.
Yeah, and even though they're used to our scent and we're feeding them all the time, yeah, sometimes I've seen them come in as quick as an hour later. Not often though. A lot of times it's 5 hours or it's after dark.
Yeah.
That day, and then the next day they're back to their routine. They're coming in there through the day, whatever. Other things that affect the deer is high wind. They don't like it when it's windy. Leaves are rustling and stuff. They don't like to expose themselves when they can't tell what's around. Rain. They don't like rain.
No,
they
don't
have
like
too much
rain.
noise.
We don't like rain.
No, yeah, and plus too much sound. Again,
Yeah.
it's they can't. It lowers their perception, and of course they're stealthy, right? They when you live your life in the bush and there's always something in there that wants to eat you, you'd be looking over your shoulder a lot too.
Yeah, you would.
And they're very very wary, and so yeah, there's many factors to hunting. Wind direction,
And most, even opening day, we had a wind that wasn't actually optimal for us, and then like Saturday we had the perfect wind because the wind was blowing right into the blind.
but it was blowing so hard it was also flapping the piece of tin that we got fixed on the top of the roof.
Yep.
It was bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
But we have footage of the deer coming in, and you may even hear it on the video where that tin is banging, because and stuff, and it didn't really affect them.
No, it didn't bother them one
didn't
little bit.
bother them at all. They're used to that. Like that's another thing about having a permanent blind in your hunting area. I know a lot of us use those pop-ups, and we use them too, but that's something different, and they're going to be looking at it, and it's going to take them a while to get used to it. So if you're going to put a pop-up up, hopefully it's in a spot where you can leave it without fear of losing it, somebody stealing it, and it can be there a while. Because with a permanent blind, that building is there all the time, and they're quite used to that building being in there.
Yep.
But there are the smart ones like Old Gray. She knows we're in there sometimes. She's wise to our tricks.
Oh, yes.
And she will make the mistake, and she'll, like I said, if it would have been me yesterday, I would have got her because of just the shooting angle and everything and the way she came in. She did give us an opportunity shot. The same with the day before, that day before when she was sniffing and that propane heater was going and she picked up the propane.
Yeah.
She was still close enough for me to make a shot. I would say she was 35 yards that day.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, she was still close enough where I could have made a shot on her before she took off. But for Jason, again, like I said,
Yeah.
it's just the wrong side of the blind, the wrong
Yeah.
side of the window for him. You know.
Yep.
And to get the footage, like, and you don't want to, like, we try not to sit right in the middle of the window.
No.
We try to sit off to the side. We wear black in the blind, so we're very invisible to them. We spray no scent in that blind probably every hour.
Or more.
Or more.
Or more.
Yeah, and we even use, I have a little spray thing that's natural earth, and we'll spray that on the windows so if any wind, it covers their scent going out. To me, 90% of the game is stealth.
Yep.
You know, if you can be invisible to the deer, your opportunities are going to be way numerous. But if you, like, if they're coming in and they're sniffing and they start acting up, you know something's off. They picked up on something. And Gray, she's smart. She looks in that window. But that's where it's going, and this video is going to be about the buck I got.
Yep.
We just haven't had a lot of footage, so we thought we'd give a little intro to what happened in the events of that day and the hunting, the way it's been going so far. And of course, there are going to be more hunting videos. Next year, we're planning on going on a bear hunt with Bearmaster Outfitters again.
Yep.
That'll be a fall hunt next year. We're also looking for a place to set up for bear locally for ourselves. So we might have, well, with any luck, we may have a spring bear hunt here in Saskatchewan. We just have to find a site. You can't see it here, like we have our little Saskatchewan map of the zones up here.
Yeah.
But over there by the computer, which you can't see, we have all our RM maps. And we, with the names on them so we know who owns the land, and we do ask around. We ask the fellows that where we hunt already if they know anybody, if they've seen bear on their land and stuff. So yeah, hopefully we're going to set up a bear site for next year, up right to the landowners.
Yeah.
So, and that's a good idea. But anyways, that's it for now. Unless you got anything else you want to add?
No, I think we're good. We'll be talking about my deer when I get it. We'll talk to you later. Remember, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe, like, and share.
Please. It will help us grow and it helps our channel.
You bet. Ugh. Yeah, Greg's first shooter and first buck of 2021.
Deer season, opening day.
Opening day.
At about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah,
He came in for a snack, and that was his last one.
He's got 2 brow tines down here.
Yeah.
He's got these 2 up here, and then he's got 6 points.
Yeah. No, he's a pretty good deer.
He's gonna be tasty. That's the main thing.
He is gonna be tasty. Nice 2.5-year-old buck.